caviar in the middle of the afternoon, a private concert with a pop star in the backyard, a quick trip to Paris? Only if you have your own private jet. This is the reality of those at the top of the Russian elite. A parallel world surrounded by absolute luxury, far from crowded subway cars, lines at the grocery store, and the daily grind of most people. While much of the population faces winter with tight salaries and freezing public transportation, the Russian elite enjoy heated marble spas, collectible wines, and mansions that look more like palaces. And that's no exaggeration. Today, Bello Mundo will take you inside this closed universe, where the right surname and an endless bank account open doors that the rest of the country doesn't even know exist. A stroll through golden halls, caviar dinners, and luxury cars parading through the streets of Moscow as if it were a fashion show. Ready to discover this extravagant side of Russia? Before entering the world of yachts, mansions, and caviar banquets, it is worth understanding the stage where all this takes place. Russia is not just big, it is huge. It occupies almost half of the Eurasian continent, spans more than 10 time zones, and is home to extremes of all kinds. At one end, regions frozen in time. On the other, vibrant cities like Moscow, where Orthodox churches share space with glass skyscrapers. St. Petersburg, with its canals and palaces, carries an aristocratic air inherited from the time of the Tsars. On paper, the country ranks among the world's largest economies. But when it comes to income distribution, there's a lot more to the story. Russia has hundreds of thousands of millionaires and more than 100 billionaires, enough to place it at the top of the global inequality ranking. Just to give you an idea, less than 1% of the population concentrates almost half of the country's wealth. That's right, a group so small it could fit in a neighborhood theater, controlling a fortune greater than millions of families combined. This gap began to form in the 90s after the end of the Soviet Union. That was when public companies passed into the hands of businessmen linked to the government. Thus were born the oligarchs, figures who, in just a few years, came to control banks, mining companies, oil companies, and even TV channels. With Putin's arrival in the 2000s, the game changed a little. Whoever was loyal to the government could keep their empire. Those who challenged it lost everything. And so was born an elite that mixes money and politics in huge doses. Now that the context is set, it's time to find out what these tycoons do with so much money. And no, they don't keep anything under their mattresses. Number 1. Where the Russian super-rich live. Neighborhoods and mansions. Take a good look at the images on your screen. If someone told you that this is a European palace like those of royalty in London or Madrid, no one would doubt it. But it's not. What you're seeing is the interior of a mansion on the outskirts of Moscow, a double-height living room, marble columns, gold-plated handrails, and an indoor swimming pool that looks like something out of a Turkish soap opera. And this marvel costs more than $40 million. When talking about the homes of Russian billionaires, the word exaggeration doesn't seem to be enough. The most famous area is called Rublyovka. It's west of Moscow and has become synonymous with ostentation. It's an area surrounded by condominiums with fancy names, luxury cars everywhere, and a security system that would make many heads of state jealous. In fact, Putin himself has a house there. Rublyovka is almost a universe unto itself. Some call it the invisible neighborhood because it doesn't even appear on official maps. But every Russian knows it's where the magnates, the famous, and the powerful live. Behind the high walls are mansions that look like something out of a fairy tale. Some resemble Versailles, with imposing columns and meticulously manicured gardens. Others go in the opposite direction, with designs so futuristic that they look like something from another planet. One of the most famous examples is the house designed by Zaha Hadid, one of the world's most renowned architects. This residence, built in the middle of the forest, was the only private residential project she designed in her lifetime. The house has a concrete and glass tower that rises above the trees, and many people say it looks like a spaceship that landed there by mistake. And if you think this is an isolated case, it's not. Many of these tycoons still have luxurious apartments in Moscow, in neighborhoods such as the Golden Mile, or mansions in St. Petersburg overlooking the canals, giant gardens, garages filled with cars, helipads, indoor swimming pools, and a whole team taking care of everything. Number 2. Parties and events. If you think luxury ends in shop windows, you've never seen a Russian elite party. Birthdays with international artists, weddings in rented castles in Italy, themed parties with movie production budgets. Here, every celebration is designed to leave everyone speechless. And the bill, too. One tycoon brought Elton John to sing at a family event in Moscow. The fee alone, between $1 and $2 million. That's not counting sound, stage, lighting, and treats for VIP guests. And that wasn't an isolated case. The drinks, of course, are on par with the rest. Bottles of Dom Perignon, Armand de Brignac, and even rare labels from Louis Roederer Cristal are served as if they were soda. And it's not just 1 or 2 toasts, it's cascades of real champagne, with hundreds of bottles that easily add up to over $100,000 in a single night. These parties also include decorations imported from Paris, customized fireworks displays, star chefs, private orchestras, international DJs, and a hand-picked guest list. Every detail is designed to impress and cost a fortune. A night like this can easily exceed $5 million. Number 3. Travel. Rich Russians also travel the world in style. Forget the check-in line or business class. This crowd travels by private jet with seats that convert into beds, an onboard chef, and a glass of champagne always nearby. The itinerary, it's worthy of a movie. In the European summer, Monaco and Saint-Tropez become mandatory meeting places. Just drive along the Côte d'Azur between July and August to see groups of Russian billionaires parading in luxury cars, surrounded by security guards and ice-cold champagne. In winter, the favorite destination is Courchevel in the French Alps, where they not only ski but also rent entire restaurants just to celebrate the new year with their closest friends. Everything is closed, exclusive, with snow falling outside and Dom Perignon circulating between fireplaces and live music. If the mood is more beachy, the Maldives, Seychelles, and Dubai make the list. These are places where privacy is as expensive as the scenery. Some have their own villas in these destinations, with full staff, private spas, and direct access to white sand. And it's not just tourism. They also participate in art auctions in London, attend the opera in Moscow, and dine in Paris on a whim, the kind of thing you wake up and decide to do. All you have to do is get on a plane. The daily life of these people seems like a continuous luxury itinerary. Today Europe, tomorrow Asia, then the Caribbean. And in the midst of it all, an art collection worth millions, with works by Fabergé, Monet, Renoir. They don't travel to rest. They travel to experience the world as if it were a luxury amusement park. No rush, no limits, and with a lot of style. Number 4. Luxury cuisine. When they're not enjoying exclusive dishes prepared by their own chefs in their mansions, wealthy Russians go out to dinner, but never just anywhere. Moscow has become a true gastronomic hub with internationally acclaimed restaurants and waiting lists that can only be resolved with a lot of money or the right contacts. One of the elite's favorites is White Rabbit, known for its incredible view of the city and the creative way it reinvents classic Russian dishes. The restaurant has been ranked among the 50 best in the world. A full meal there can easily cost $1,500 per person. Another classic is Cafe Pushkin, which takes customers straight back to the 19th century. Dark wood salons, waiters in white gloves, and dishes typical of the Russian nobility, such as sturgeon in white sauce and blinis with black caviar. The atmosphere is as theatrical as the menu. But if the goal is to impress, the place to go is Turandot, a restaurant that looks like it came out of a European palace. Crystal chandeliers, gold-plated furniture, paintings on the ceiling, and waiters who look like extras from a period film. It's the kind of dinner that costs a lot just to sit at the table. A full menu can exceed $10,000, depending on your choices. Number 5. Hotels. In Russia, luxury hotels are not just places to sleep. They are meeting places, social showcases, and often the scene of million-dollar decisions. The elite's favorite addresses are true landmarks, with rates that would make any credit card cry. One example is the Four Seasons Moscow, located next to the Kremlin and overlooking Red Square. The most exclusive suites can cost up to $18,000 a night. There, it is common for oligarchs to book an entire floor just to ensure total privacy and, if possible, absolute silence. At the hotel bar, a martini can cost the equivalent of a month's salary for an average Russian. And even then, there is a line. Another hotspot is the Ritz-Carlton Moscow, where the rooftop has become famous among the wealthy for hosting memorable parties. Legend has it that a group of magnates once drank the entire stock of a rare champagne in a single night, celebrating the victory of their favorite hockey team. They say the bill was over $500,000. In St. Petersburg, the elite's favorites are the Four Seasons Lion Palace and the classic Bello Mundo Grand Europe. Both are housed in restored historic buildings and offer experiences to match: private spas, 24-hour butler service, and suites with imperial decor. A luxury retreat with a touch of history. Number 6. Exclusive experiences. With money to burn, wealthy Russians are not satisfied with the obvious. For them, luxury means experiencing things that the rest of the world only sees in movies. Or not even that. An example? Renting entire museums just for themselves. Literally, an oligarch once paid for a private nighttime visit to the Hermitage in St. Petersburg. Just him, his guests, and millions of dollars worth of artwork, all washed down with French wine and absolute silence. It is also common to hire entire orchestras for exclusive performances in home ballrooms or to bring in famous opera singers to sing Happy Birthday. Everything is tailor-made. Every musical note, every light, every flower, hand-picked. For those who want to go even further, there are personalized itineraries, VIP hunts in Siberia with 5-star camps set up in the middle of the forest, or expeditions to the Arctic with diving in glacial lagoons, followed by dinner in heated igloos. And of course, everything with a private chef, concierge, multilingual staff, and a team to document everything on film. Nothing is improvised. These events are planned months in advance by companies that specialize in catering to the world's most demanding customers. In other words, if you have the right contacts and the right amount of money, sometimes millions of dollars, any whim can become reality. It's the Russian version of if you can, you can. Number 7. cars, private jets, and luxury transportation. Forget the chaotic Moscow traffic seen through the windshield of an ordinary car. Russian tycoons travel on another level. For the Russian elite, transportation is not about getting around. It's about marking territory. A car needs to be as flashy as a red carpet. And that's exactly what you see on the streets of Moscow. Convoys of armored Mercedes, supercars like Ferraris, Lamborghinis, McLarens, all vying for attention on avenues that look more like catwalks. Among the more classic models, the Rolls-Royce Phantom is the choice of those who prefer to make a triumphant entrance with a chauffeur wearing white gloves. To withstand the Russian winter, the favorite is the Mercedes G-Class, the boxy SUV that has become a status symbol. Some are customized with matte paint, gold accents, and even a refrigerator in the trunk. One of these models can easily cost over $500,000. Those who want to show off Russian style opt for cars from the national luxury brand Urus, such as the limousine used by Putin. And yes, there are tycoons who have bought the same one to show patriotism and power at the same time. Now, the sky is the limit, literally. Billionaires own their own jets, such as Gulfstream and Bombardier, with interiors that look more like hotel suites. Reclining seats, double beds, gourmet service on board, and, in some cases, even showers with digital heating. Tycoon Roman Abramovich even had a customized Boeing 767, nicknamed the Bandit. At sea, the stakes are even higher. Abramovich's Eclipse cost over $700 million and has 2 helipads, a cinema, a swimming pool, and a supposed anti-missile system. Another highlight is the Dilbar, owned by another Russian oligarch named Alisher Usmanov, with a gigantic indoor swimming pool and more than 80 crew members at its disposal. But we'll talk more about these billionaires in a moment. First, let's talk about luxury education. Number 8. Education of children and heirs. Growing up as the child of a billionaire in Russia is like living in a parallel reality. From an early age, these heirs are surrounded by privileges: bilingual nannies, private tutors, fencing, horse riding, and piano lessons, all organized with CEO-level efficiency. Public school? No way. They study at Moscow's most exclusive private institutions, with tuition fees that can exceed $100,000 a year. The Anglo-American School of Moscow, for example, is one of the most expensive and coveted. An international curriculum, first world facilities, foreign teachers, state-of-the-art laboratories. The complete package. Rublyovka Gymnasium, located in the ultra-rich neighborhood, serves such an exclusive clientele that many students arrive escorted by drivers and private security guards. And that's just the beginning. At 15 or 16, many are sent to boarding schools in Europe. Schools such as Eton College and Harrow in the United Kingdom charge around $70,000 a year and have educated everyone from royalty to prime ministers. Another favorite destination is the Institut Le Rose in Switzerland, nicknamed the School of Kings, where the annual cost exceeds $120,000. In college, the investment remains high. Many attend universities such as Harvard, Yale, Oxford, or Cambridge, where costs, including housing and fees, easily exceed $80,000 per year. Those who stay in Russia usually go to elite institutions such as MGIMO, which is geared toward future diplomats. And outside the classroom, they travel the world, take summer courses at Stanford, are always in contact with different cultures, and learn early on how to navigate among CEOs, artists, and politicians. Because in this world, status is also built through education, and it is expensive to maintain the standard. Number 9. Extravagant fortunes. And we can't leave them out, the names that have become synonymous with excessive wealth. After all, no video about Russia's super rich would be complete without the most iconic oligarchs. So let's meet some of them, just to get an idea of the level we're talking about. Starting with Roman Abramovich, the most famous outside Russia. He made his fortune in oil in the 90s and became known as the owner of Chelsea for almost 20 years. The guy once had an estimated fortune of $14 billion, and even with recent sanctions, he still has about $9 billion in his pocket. In addition to his yacht, Eclipse, which we mentioned earlier, he also collects mansions, including a house in London valued at over $190 million. He once spent New Year's Eve in the Caribbean, where he spent over $5 million in a single night. Another big name is Alisher Usmanov, with an estimated fortune of $18 billion. He owns Dilbar, one of the largest yachts in the world, which we also mentioned earlier, valued at over $600 million. In addition, he collects art, including the original Beatles contract, which he bought just to display in a museum. Vladimir Potanin, the richest man in Russia, has around $25 billion. More discreet, but no less extravagant, he has his own ski resort in Sochi and a collection of rare books. Fun fact, he starred in one of the most expensive divorces in the country's history. And closing the list is Andrei Melnichenko, with a fortune of around $20 billion, owner of a futuristic yacht that looks like a spy ship, valued at over $400 million, and a private jet customized with modern artwork inside. Ultimately, they all have one thing in common: breathtaking fortunes and a lifestyle that makes even Dubai seem modest. Planes, yachts, art collections, properties in the four corners of the world, and much more that doesn't even make the news. Because in this world, showing off is just the beginning. Did you get a taste of what it's like to be surrounded by luxury 24 hours a day? But what about you if money were no object? What luxury would you adopt into your life? Leave your comments and see you next time with another trip through our Bello Mundo.